everybody. We are joined by head coach Gary Smith. Coach, the third time that the club has climbed into the playoffs. Tell us about your reactions on that and the game.
Well, first and foremost, absolutely delighted that over the course of a long, hard season, and I've made it clear on a couple of occasions that you truly are a reflection of your worth at the end of a season and your position in the league. And for the third season on the spin, in this club's very young history, we've been able to secure a playoff position again. For that, I'm so incredibly proud of the group, of the organisation. I'm sure the fans are too. There are a number of very, very good things going on in this organisation, and I think that should really give you an idea and typify what the organisation is all about. It's not easy in a league where parity runs throughout. 3 seasons on the spin to be in the playoffs. Having said that, very disappointing to finish off the way we have tonight at home. I think, look, it's been a weekend of interesting or strange results. Most of those have given us the opportunity, without winning tonight or earning a point, to be part of the playoffs. And I guess, again, that is part of the competition of this league. This group, this Houston group that have done the double over us, have spent a tremendous amount of time and money and effort in putting this group together, and you can see on nights like tonight there's some quality in their team. The penalty, I felt, was very, very soft, although I'd have to look at a clear, concise replay. But up until that point, I'm not even sure they had an effort at goal or an effort in general. And then a very poor mistake from Dave obviously gives them some breathing space, and it was a little too late.
We are going to open the floor for questions now. We'll kick it off with Trey Hills. Sorry.
Yeah, Gary, you talked about the penalty, of course, Dave Romer's goal, but offensively, outshoot them 21-9. Yet, I guess in the run of play, there really wasn't much going through the middle channel. It was only 32 crosses coming from out wide. What was missing with the attack today? Did you feel like individually the collective were at their best, sharp?
No, I think the answer to that is no. I thought they did a very good job of stifling our star player and focal point. Credit to their back line and the 2 centre backs. There was an emphasis placed on trying to be a little bit more aggressive out wide. They play, what can be classed as a 4-2-3-1 with guys in that central area of the field that do a very good screening job. And I thought there were some weaknesses that we could try and take advantage of out wide. However, I think for the most part, whether it was a cross that wasn't accurate enough, a choice that maybe came inside a bit too quickly and didn't release somebody in behind the back line in a wider area. We had plenty of efforts, plenty of opportunities, not all clear cut for sure. I think the best one in the first half was Randall's, that he tried to cut across too heavily, too much power. But it really didn't matter when you look around the group tonight. There was no lack of effort, endeavour, desire to try and get a result. Circumstances obviously contrived against us in many ways. But we certainly weren't clean enough by a long stretch in front of goal. And that in the end was, a very, very important factor to keep them under pressure and to ask some questions.
Ben, right.
Yeah, Gary, we haven't really had to talk about what happens when Honey isn't scoring in a while, but it does feel like when he's quiet, the team is quiet. You've got production from other guys in spurts, but how concerning, or are you concerned about that heading into the playoffs, that if the team can shut him down, that the team
Yeah, I think there's two parts to that. The first one is a lot of teams have tried all year to do that, and he's been very, very good. The dynamic and the dimension of the group has changed over the last couple of months, and Jacob and Shaq have been the main, obviously, focal points of that. That added pace and width, I think, has given us an awful lot of product, and through those two guys, combined obviously with some of the other individuals we have, I think we've found a very, very nice balance, and we've caused some problems for a lot of teams. I think we've had 2 weeks to, we've had that international weekend again. The rhythm gets broken up. We had some terrific work last week. No lack of energy and focus to prepare for the game. I think the guys all felt that there was a terrific opportunity here without even knowing the results. I wonder, in some people's minds, walking in today, lots of press releases going out, we've clinched. It doesn't matter how much you tell people, listen, if you want a top 4 spot, you got to win tonight. Maybe that little bit of pressure, maybe that relaxed feel, that edge goes out of your game because you're in. And like I said, whilst there was no lack of effort, I don't think anyone's going to point a finger and say the guys didn't really give their all, but we lacked that edge, and we lacked that sharpness, and we lacked that that connection in the final third that we have seen in the last 6-7 games. Even the Club America game, bright, purposeful goals, a very positive look about the team. The shots will tell you we got in good places. The shots on goal will tell you that we were nowhere near good enough when we got in those good places.
Claudio.
Gary, when you look at the game, besides the penalty, which is questionable, and Dave's error, it could have been very well a 0-0 goal, or maybe even winning by 1, who knows. But, my point is, what in the game you would be the one point that you say, hey guys, we did this good enough, but we didn't do that good enough. For instance, in my view, those many crosses back and over, that would be perhaps something that you say, well, we gotta do something about it. Right?
I'll bring you in on Tuesday and you can have a chat with the group, Claudio. Of course, look, when we're at our best, we're finding that channel of uncertainty behind the back line, where the weight of the pass from the serving player is into the stride of the wide player. He can move onto it and work it with some confidence and fluidity, and it just wasn't there. It was stop start. Unfortunately, there just wasn't enough of a connection in any part of the field, honestly. And I'm going to console myself with this. It's not something that I would have necessarily been wanting to be thinking, but sometimes we've been on a decent run, we've had some terrific results against some very good teams. Maybe there's 1 or 2 guys, like I said, that felt as though they were in. They've had a good season, which they have. I said before that I thought making the playoffs this year would be one of our best achievements, if not the best achievement, and I still believe that. Unfortunately, we've missed a window of opportunity there, and that's going to be tough to recover. But sometimes that kick up the backside can be a bit of a bit of an eye opener and a realisation of what's needed if you're going to actually progress in the playoffs. Because whilst there were some good things that went on in the middle part of the field, there were a couple of things that went on at either end of the field that are not going to be good enough to take us any further in the playoffs.
Gary, what can you say that you know about this team when faced with a specific situation in front of them? You have the playoffs coming up, which are that very specific situation. You win in advance or not. Tonight you had the chance to kind of own your destiny, and you don't, and you came up short. What can you say about this team that you know that they can do in a situation like that?
Well, honestly, when I look at our group, and the difference obviously between a team that finishes in the top 4 and a team that finishes in the top 7, in most cases, is going to be a very fine line, but it's going to be those moments of turning the odd game from a draw into a victory. Obviously, being consistent. You don't get to that point unless you're consistent. And probably, you know, the difference in our group, finding 1 or 2 guys that can hit a bit of form in front of goal. And tonight, that's, you know, we're falling short maybe because of that. There are so many things that I'm so grateful for with a lot of players in our group. So many things. But there'll be some disappointments in that locker room that they've not been able to convert, given some half chances that on other occasions we'd like to have thought we might have just squeezed a goal out of it, put them under a little bit more pressure. So there'll be a few of the guys that are internally thinking to themselves, falling short there. And what we've always done, for the most part, when we've been in that position, is come out fighting. And we've shown some real character, some inner fibre that brings a result when we've needed it, or a run of results when we've needed it. Probably our flattest period of the year, 6 games without a win, and we go and win 4 games on the bounce. I think there's a lot of teams in this league and around the globe that will be more than happy with a flat spell that was just 2 defeats back to back without a win in 6. You know, disappointing at the time, but we can look back on this season and be, I think, very proud again of what we've achieved in some tremendously difficult circumstances. And look forward to a run, hopefully in the playoffs, wherever we finish, knowing that we've actually achieved an awful lot on the road this year as well. So I'm not sure that there'll be too many teams licking their lips if we're coming to them, although of course we'd love to try and achieve a home game if we possibly can, and if we can't do that, we'll finish high as we possibly can.
We have time for 2 more questions. Tim, go ahead, and then we'll close it out with Drake.
Gary, you kind of alluded to it there, but with today's result, not knowing whether you'll have a home playoff game, how does that change your mindset, either going into LA, or if you don't end up having a home game, is it a major disappointment for you in the playoffs, or is it something that you guys just kind of buckle down and say, hey, we've been great on the road this year?
I think we'll take it in our stride, come what may, but yes, it will be a disappointment, because I think there have been occasions this year that we'll look back on and feel as though we should really have taken a little bit more from that game in particular. And there've been 3 or 4 of those games here that I think, given the standards that we have been able to set and the way that the group's capable of playing, and it always sounds like I'm asking for a little bit more, but I do genuinely believe there was more to be had if we don't make the top 4 than maybe we achieve. We'll get over that. We'll dust ourselves off, and we'll be ready, whatever we've got to do, against whoever we've got to play against. There's no doubt about that. I don't look at any team in this league and think to myself, okay, I genuinely do not want to be playing them. This is going to be a bridge too far. I think we've shown that against most teams. We're capable on any given day. we're capable of beating anyone away from home. I think we have the credentials and quality to do that, if need be.
Dre, go ahead.
Yeah, just to follow up on Ben's question regarding the support for Hani as far as goal production. But wanted to hone in on the center forward position. Obviously, Sapong, CJ has been consistent for you since he's been here as your starter. Have you seen any cons or pros, I should say, in allowing Teal to get another run? Obviously, he's battled health throughout the year, but obviously in the summer he put on that four-game stretch. So do you feel like it's too late, given what you guys are trying to get, especially with a home field advantage, or do you think that could be an opportunity?
Oh, I certainly don't think it's too late. You know, he's coming back from an injury. Genuinely, I truly don't think as individuals, their qualities go along very similar lines. I think what I'm looking for, especially with Till coming back from some time out, is he looking sharp enough? Does he look like he's going to make a difference? Is he able to, to really deal with the rigours of the start of a game, rather than making an impact coming into the game? Because, his only start in a long while has been Club America. But he did go on a terrific run, and unfortunately, we would have all seen it before. Forwards get in a groove, they're confident. Things look like they're coming easy for them. Goals that they shouldn't even be scoring, they do, because they're in such a good place mentally. Everything flows. But sadly, he had some time out, and he's trying to find his feet again as well. But I have no problem in, utilising Till to the best of the ability for the team. None whatsoever. I think he's been terrific for us. He's an incredibly genuine guy, and very, very capable. So I want to keep CJ and anyone else under pressure. The mindset, just so that is that the connection between CJ and Hani has been terrific. And if it's not been CJ scoring, there's normally something within the game that I can look at and say, you know what, that's benefited Hani so much. And he's been such an important piece, of course. So anything I can do to support what and how Hani's going about his work, I want to. But there comes a point where, there might be a need to try and find another angle for a goal. Yeah.
Thank you, Coach.
Great.
Appreciate
Thank you.
taking the time. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Dando